Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Good morning. Welcome. It is time for Naturally Inspired Radio. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I'm feeling like a little bit like it's an Epstein Palooza out there. I mean, we knew it was coming. Many of us have known a lot of this stuff for even, longer than most. So we knew eventually, well, I don't know, maybe that's not true. I didn't know if we were ever going to see some of the stuff that, people didn't want us to see. But most of us, and if you're listening to this show, probably most of us have known, Epstein didn't kill himself. There's a lot more around this web of corruption, deceit, criminal activity, sex trafficking, pedophilia, the list goes on, than what has been discussed in the mainstream and, hidden in the mainstream for so long. But nonetheless, with this type of topic, there's still surprises. Surprise, 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 right? I don't even know how we're even surprised anymore because, so much darkness has been revealed that it's not really shocking anymore. And when I say, it's an Epstein Palooza, I'm not making light of any of this. In fact, I find the whole thing very difficult to even dive into. It's dark. It's really dark. And I've said before, especially kids stuff, like I just don't have the stomach for it. I'm not sticking my head in the sand. I know, trust me, unfortunately, I know the very deep, dark, horrific things that some of these elitist people who have managed to get themselves in positions that rule our world partake in, unfortunately. I know, but I hate going there, And so this weekend, as I was going through things, I think it had an impact on my mood, actually, because we feel helpless. There's these power mongers, right, in these positions of huge influence. And, they're all part of the cult, and the cult works together. And we feel like outsiders, that what can you really do about it? These people are so powerful. I got into kind of a deeper thought process with this that made me feel like I was contemplating freedom for a while this weekend. Just thinking like, have we ever been free? Are we free? Like, so much of what we do is not of our free will. And it feels like that gets more and more all the time. We have to pay these taxes, even though we find out that criminals are siphoning the money and driving around our country in luxury vehicles. And we're going to talk about that today too, how much more fraud is coming out of California. And these rotten criminals, are operating in our country. And it's not just Somalians or any other immigrant group. These are politicians that are clearly working hand in hand to do this stuff. But when I'm talking about freedom, I'm like, we're not really free not to pay our taxes, are we? Even though we know that there's crime going on, even though we know horrific things are being done in the dark corners of the world, there's nothing we can do about it. We're not free to not pay our taxes. We're not free to, earn a living for ourselves. We have to earn a living. You cannot survive in this world without bringing in income. And it has to be your main focus because the cost of living is so high. So I got on this whole kind of tangent of thinking of like just how we really are not free. We are really slaves to this system. And the more digital, the more technology that comes into play, it's just getting whittled down more and more and more. The only place we're truly free right now is in our thought process. Right? How we think. We're not free to express it without consequence. We're not free to really tap out of society unless we want to be put in danger, right? Like living in the elements, living off grid, that kind of thing. Then you're targeted even. If you do live like that, you're kind of targeted by this institution that we call government. It's kind of a strange thought process I had, but was triggered by all this Epstein stuff because it is so incredibly dark. So incredibly dark. And not only that, I did feel like a little bit of redemption because, when you get a vibe, and like everybody's like, oh, I just love that person. I think, oh, he's so smart. Oh, he's so great, and you're sitting there going, something's not right, but you don't want to say it because you're the only one. That, my friends, is how I have felt about this Mr., or I should say, Dr. Peter Attia. Do you know this guy? He came onto the scene. I'm sure he was mingling around in the science community, but he kind of make his debut into celebrity doctor through Rogan, right? Through Rogan, it feels like. That's where I first saw him anyway. And anyway, he is now, I think, the chief medical advisor or something at CBS. And I just have never liked this guy. He seemed like a poser to me, like a holistic doctor, posing as a holistic doctor, but really a pharma shill, So guess who was in the Epstein files? If it wasn't Dr. Attia. Let's pull up some of the evidence, shall we? I guess this is a exchange of correspondence between Dr. Peter Attia and Jeffrey Epstein himself. Now, you would think, how does Jeffrey Epstein know Dr. Attia? Well, Dr. Attia went to Stanford. Stanford is, listen, these higher institutions are breeding grounds for agents. I don't care what anybody thinks anymore. I'll say it. The education system's a sorting process. Okay, it starts very young. You put your child into school immediately. The system starts sorting your child, sorting them to see if they may be a candidate for a little special attention. And so anyway, Peter Attia went to Stanford, and of course, Stanford University has documented ties to Jeffrey Epstein, and this connection is far more substantiated than any other institution that he's even associated with. Epstein donated money to Stanford. He made significant financial donations to Stanford affiliate programs. Donations were routed through departments and individual faculty initiatives, not patient care or clinical operations, apparently. But this has been confirmed by investigative reporting. He had relationships with Stanford faculty. Donations continued after his 2008 conviction. Stanford publicly acknowledged and reviewed the relationship but stated that Epstein holds no honorary titles or institutional authority at Stanford. Clearly, he had a lot of power there, though. And that is where Dr. Peter Attia, went to school. He went to Stanford. He was actually Canadian American, so he must hold two of those, hold dual citizenship rather. He's a Canadian American physician. He's an author and one of the most recognized voices in longevity and preventative health medicine. That's debatable. He earned his medical degree from Stanford University and trained in general surgery at Johns Hopkins Hospital. He also spent time as a surgical oncology fellow at National Cancer Institute. He lives in Austin, Texas now. He's very focused on longevity medicine. Why is that important? I think it's important because I think there may be a tie between Epstein's people, the advancement of technology, and specifically, anti-aging technology, I guess you could say, and this group, this network, this cult of people. It would seem that Epstein had a massive network, right? And so perhaps, allegedly, just maybe, the interest here was the anti-aging realm of research. Anyway, I never trusted Dr. Peter Attia. This is just one of the many reasons why. Watch this.
mRNA thing is crazy. This is totally sci-fi. It's completely experimental. Why would anyone subject themselves to something that is so risky and so unproven? A little while ago, I wrote something on this topic, trying to make the point, I don't know how convincing it was, that actually it's not as experimental as people think, and that this technology has been around for decades, plural. And that the only thing that's new is that this is the first time the final step has been made, which is actually taking a virus that is of concern to humans, sequencing it, and then putting it into a clinical practice. But this notion of using mRNA this didn't just come out of nowhere. This wasn't something that was developed in 12 months, as one might believe if they weren't really following the science too closely. Do you find yourself confronted with the same type of question?
Yes, and they're reasonable questions.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, it is a new era of vaccinology. I mean, we just went through that briefly, but it's arguably the fifth era. I mean, you go to initially sort of animal strains that are related to humans, then you go to the inactivated vaccines, then you go to the live attenuated viral vaccines, then you go to purified protein vaccines. What all those four strategies have in common is that you're giving the viral protein that you're interested in. I mean, in this case, we're interested in the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein, but and when you give that protein in one form or another, whole virus or a live attenuated virus or just the purified protein itself, you're giving that protein, the viral protein, then the person makes an antibody response to that protein. You're not doing that here. You're giving the gene that codes for the viral protein, that's translated in the cytoplasm to the viral protein. So your body makes the viral protein, then your body makes an antibody response. And you can see why people are concerned, because it's the term that is used correctly, is it's a genetic strategy. You're giving a gene. And the minute you say that to people, that's often interpreted as something that could interfere with your genes or, reorient or re-engineer your genes. That's the way people hear that. They hear it as gene therapy. And in a sense, it is kind of gene therapy, but not in the more traditional way that it's meant.
So what is the best answer you have to someone that says, look, I'm not worried about acute toxicity or even subacute toxicity, because given how many tens of millions of people have received both the Moderna vaccine and the Pfizer vaccine, I think anybody can say unequivocally there can't be any complications in the short run that are clinically.
Oh, yeah, there can't be any complications, especially when you don't acknowledge them. You know what I mean? Like, if you just gaslight people and tell people they're stupid, they don't have a biology degree, you're not a doctor. I mean, you guys, this gets me so irritated and riled up, because this is what they do. This is what you call a softball lob. Here you go, hit it out of the park. Why should you not be questioning mRNA technology, you idiot? Of course, we're the idiots. Stay tuned. Welcome. Happy Monday. It's Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Follow us on X. Share the show, if you will. Connect more people to real solutions for health, because that is what we do here at Naturally Inspired Radio. Follow us at Tammy Cuthbert G on X and at Naturally Inspired Radio. Naturally I Radio. Naturally I Radio. So Tammy Cuthbert G and Naturally I Radio on X. Love it if you would retweet some of our stuff. It helps us, get more people connected to the solutions that we're providing. Yeah, I get riled up when I see these windbags posing as experts, and they think they're so smart, They think they just talk down to you, they gaslight you. Oh, we've seen tens of millions of injections and no clinical evidence that anything bad is happening. Well, of course not. Of course not, Peter. Of course not. Because You guys just choose to not acknowledge anything terrible going on. That's all you're doing. You're just gaslighting everybody. Oh, there's nothing wrong here. You know what would be a great correlation of information? I want to know how many Epstein people, that is people that have emailed Epstein, been to Epstein Island, thought Epstein was so cool because he was so rich. I'd like to know how many of those people mentioned in any of these documents, if any of them were against the COVID vaccine. That's what I'm talking about when I say it's a cult. You gotta partake in the cult. If you don't do exactly what the cult says, what happens? What happens? You get excommunicated. Your life is over. Kind of like Kevin Spacey. There's some pictures floating around with Dr. Peter there with his cool friend group, Kevin Spacey, on all the cool other cult people. Oh, yeah, so cool. You guys are so cool, making all the money and just, living large, right? I mean, why not? Why not, right? If you can have somebody like Epstein push you out into the limelight, I mean, why not? I'm sure that's probably what Peter was thinking at the time. But I'd be curious. There's a lot of names floating around. And all the names that I have seen, it's just so weird. Like, nobody had a problem with an experimental gene therapy. Not publicly. Not publicly. I love how he said in this clip too. By the way, that's Paul Offit. Paul Offit gets rich from promoting products backed by science. That's how Paul Offit makes all his money. And he is scared right now. He is so scared right now because he's been kicked off of a lot of committees. And, there's some lawsuits going on, lawsuits that are looking into the validity of, say, the childhood vaccine schedule, that of which Paul Offit was heavily involved in for many years. So, that's an old clip, of course. That clip's 4 or 5 years old, but that's what these people did. These are your experts. These are the people that everybody goes, wow, he's such a smart guy, right? A medical doctor. Well, you're not a medical doctor. You don't know. No, but I can read. I got 2 eyes and I can read. And anybody who could read during COVID could have went to the product website and immediately saw that they were lying to us. You know how? Because on the TV, they were saying, the disease stops with you. It stops transmission. As soon as you get that needle in your arm, the disease is stopped. It stops transmission. Go to the product website. Oh, nothing on there about stopping transmission. In fact, we didn't even test for that. Oh. So you're telling me a medical doctor like Peter Attia, who went to Stanford, so brilliant, so brilliant, wasn't able to read the website and read the product information and understand that this was complete bullshit? Of course he did. This was a way to change vaccination, people. This was about supporting technology. This was about getting that needle in your arm to be able to walk away and say, oh, look at, we changed vaccinology forever. We're so smart. We changed technology. And now we've opened the Pandora's box for billions and billions of dollars for all of our supporters and investors. And everybody wins except for us, because we're the test monkey. And it didn't go so well. It didn't go so well for a lot of people. Didn't go so well. Didn't go so well for the kids that died. Didn't go so well for the people who got tumors. Didn't go so well for the people who got miscarriages. Didn't go so well for people who had blood clots, heart attacks. people who are now diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. My health text line's full. If you really want to know what's going on with the COVID vaccine, you can come look at my health text line. People are divorced over it. People are permanently disabled because of it. People have died because of it. I don't know how, I guess your ego is just so big. You just think you're so smart and so cool that you just think what these little peons lie. Oh, they just lie. They don't know. They don't know when their loved one died because they don't have a doctorate. They don't have a PhD in science. Feels like to me that people are forgetting about this. They're forgetting about COVID. Oh, we're through the COVID years. Actually, no. A lot of people are still dealing with COVID. Yeah, because they're injured from the experimental gene injection that people like Dr. Peter Attia promoted because they're so smart. They're your experts. Trust your doctor. I don't know why that guy got under my skin so bad. I think it was just, I just sensed his energy. And I thought, well, this guy's a pompous ass immediately. And I try not to judge. I really do. I try not to judge. But he was just being popped out there all the time. Such a great holistic doctor. Holistic? What are you talking about? The guy's recommending GLP-1 injections. He's recommending, oh, yes, and doesn't recommend vitamins. Yeah, no, take the GLP-1 that gives you, go to drugs.com, look at the laundry list of side effects. Take those, but don't take a vitamin. Expert. Oh, so smart. Stanford. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When are we going to get over this? I wonder when we're going to get over this, this like doctor worship. Listen, most of them are bought and paid for. Period. They actually separate you from your power. They separate you from your innate power. Someone who helps you heal, helps you understand the power of your own body. Because that's the only way to heal. That is the only way to heal. Your body is the only way to heal. What these egomaniac doctors are like, not all of them. I'm not trying to put you all in the same group. I know there's some great doctors out there. But what they do is they step in between you and your body. And they say, I know how to fix your body. Just take these, take this. This is what I learned, blah, blah, blah. And that has nothing to do with healing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing to do with healing. And they walk around and they think they're just this, God's gift here on earth. I'm sorry. Maybe many years ago, like the early 1900s, before the Flexner report, before Rockefeller medicine, there were doctors that did lead people to healing. But since we went to the pharmaceutical model, and since we went to this ego-based, not emergency medicine, right? But understanding chronic illness, since we went to that model, a pill for every ill, I don't know. I just cannot accept they're good people working in a bad system. That is not good enough for me. It sure as hell isn't as good anymore. I'm done. You're all liars. You're cheats. I know precisely what you're doing. And I hope you get everything coming to you. Peter Attia. Stay tuned. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be right back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
We're back. Try our cellular reset today. Dense polyphenols. It's food filled with all the wonderful antioxidants. You can get it at naturallyinspiredstore.com. I tell you, the number one thing we've got to get control over in this country is inflammation. Right? High carbohydrate diet. We're exposed to even blue light causes inflammation and changes your gut microbiome. So if you're not living in prevention when it comes to inflammation, then I guarantee you're dealing with inflammation. So get our favorite cellular reset today at naturallyinspiredstore.com. If you have any questions at all, just text me. It's really me. I answer all of my texts, 720-303-8868. Yes, super worked up over Dr. Peter Attia, because I think you stay quiet for a long time because you're like, everybody's thinking this person's so great, but you just know. And it's like, man, I don't know. It's just, it's upsetting. I'm so tired of the fakeness. I'm tired of the artificial merit, Oh, they're just so smart. That's how they got where they are. No, they got where they are because they do what they're told. They do precisely what they're told, and they don't ask questions, and they give softball questions to people like that to propagandize information. Let's take a look at some of these other, emails that have come out. This one, what is this? Okay. Pull this up. This is from Peggy Siegel. This is to Jeffrey Epstein. Listen here, yada, yada, yada. Oh, we're so fancy. We're so rich. We're flying around all of Africa. La-di-da, right? Can you bring a little baby back for you or two? Can bring a little baby back for you or two? Boys or girls? I don't even, in what context? You know what I mean? Who says this? Who says this? Who says this? Can I bring a little baby back for you? Or two? What are they talking about here? What are they? And we're supposed to, you're just a conspiracy theorist. Okay, well, there's enough rumors around. There's enough, rumors been floating around for years and years. And I know rumors aren't evidence, but explain me that. Okay. Here's another one. Let's look at some of these other ones here. What's this one is, oh yeah. So this is from the FBI. This is about Bush. I didn't realize Bush raped him too. Okay. I'd like to add a few other points disclosed by the purported victim. While on this yacht, he witnessed African-American males having sex with white blonde females, all of whom were bleeding during intercourse. He has a victim of a type of ritualistic sacrifice in which his feet were cut with left no scarring. He was also raped by George Bush 1, Victim disclosed he was escorted to the What is this? But you guys are crazy. Oh, you're so crazy. Candace is crazy, right? All these guys are crazy. Alex Jones, crazy, right? Owen Schroyer, crazy. Whitney Webb, crazy. Nick Bryant, crazy. We're all crazy. We're just crazy. Yeah. I don't know people who write emails like this, right? Like, I mean, I don't even, and this stuff is now getting, it's been come out for so long. Look at this one. I think this one came from the WikiLeaks dump way back when, in 2016. Do you remember this stuff? Pizzagate. Head count. Are you sure this might not be a Jim Jones Kool-Aid event? Please eat my slice. Does the pizza offer include those of us who can't make the meeting because we're out here editing? Because if so, count me in. This email is color-coded in black and white and will combust in 30 seconds. Who all is in the Austin office today? Who is going to want pizza? We only have one slice and we need to know how thinly to slice it. Simply send a single response. So those of you who aren't familiar with the whole Pizzagate thing, I found a little quick synopsis here of it on YouTube. Let's see. Do we have one more email here? Yeah, let's go to the next email. Back in the 90s, Ghislaine Maxwell recruited a girl from a modeling career. Instead of modeling, she was sold as a slave for sex and torture. Prince Andrew was an accessory to her death as he tortured her and me to force her murder. I need to get a passport to identify her. I will need someone to contact the passport office to get an expedited passport. This is from the FBI. But you're crazy. We're all crazy. You're just crazy. I think people need to get ready. Because I think a lot, the reason why nobody believes this stuff, or they're like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, not job, tinfoil hat, blah, blah, blah. Because it's so incredibly horrific, a normal person cannot comprehend. We don't travel in their circles. We don't understand their life philosophy. We're so detached from it that it just feels all so unbelievable. But yet we keep getting evidence. Years and years and years of evidence stacking up on top of each other over and over and over and over again. And we still, oh gosh, it's too crazy. Tinfoil hat. If you don't know yet what Pizzagate is, I am sorry. I had to be the one to enter that into your vocabulary. Because it's pretty bad. And I'd advise you to proceed with caution because it'll change your mood. That's for sure. Here's a little synopsis of it. Pizzagate.
As the details were oddly specific, everything began with the 2016 email leak, where certain messages referenced pizza, pasta, cheese, and hot dogs in ways that didn't fit normal conversation. For example, one email asked if Obama could bring $65,000 worth of hot dogs into the White House. Another mentioned a pizza-related map on a handkerchief with strange stains. These lines aren't criminal by themselves. They're just extremely unusual, and nobody involved ever explained what they meant. People followed the references to Comet Ping Pong, the DC pizza shop mentioned repeatedly. On its own, a restaurant being named in emails doesn't mean much, but the environment around it raised questions. The owner, James Alefantis, wasn't just a chef. He was ranked by GQ as one of the top 50 most powerful people in Washington. Strange for someone running a neighborhood pizza place. Then came the art. Not weird in a generic sense, specifically disturbing. Alefantis posted images from artists like Marina Abramovich, known for spirit cooking performances involving fake blood, knives, and occult themes. Others in his circle were connected to artists who depicted children in disturbing positions, taped to tables, lying in shallow water, or arranged like mannequins. These weren't innocent family photos. Many looked like staged scenes of restraint, and these images were posted publicly, with jokes in the captions that didn't help their case. Inside Comet Ping Pong, murals showed humanoid figures with exaggerated limbs, trapped in maze-like rooms. Again, not criminal, just strange decor for a children-friendly restaurant hosting kids' parties. Even stranger, the venue frequently booked bands with openly sexual or occult imagery. One musician performing there used lyrics referencing babies and violence, while another used stage props shaped like restraint devices. When people pointed this out, the internet was told it was just edgy art. The symbols didn't help either. Posters, menus, and nearby businesses displayed spiral and triangle patterns that matched shapes listed in old FBI files about trafficking symbols. Maybe a coincidence, but when several coincidences stack up in the same place, people start asking questions. Then there was the basement. LAThe said the restaurant had none, but old interviews, photos, and job listings referenced work in the basement. A nearby business using the same building also posted videos from underground storage rooms. Either the story changed or someone was careless. Both explanations raised eyebrows. When a man arrived with a rifle to investigate, the official report said he found nothing, but no detailed inventory, no official floor plan, and no footage were ever released. The incident was treated less like a crime and more like a convenient way to shut the conversation down. Around the same time, major trafficking networks were exposed, unrelated to Comet Ping Pong, but proving such systems can operate right under the public's nose. And yet the emails at the center of Pizzagate never clarified, not once. People don't cling to Pizzagate because they want to believe something dark. They cling to it because every debunking left more questions than answers.
More questions than answers, and all under the smokescreen of art. You see some of these rituals being played out right on a stage. You know, we've seen some of these demonic performances, and they always get brushed to the side because it's just art, guys. It's just art. What's wrong with you? Like, it's just art. No, it's ritual. It's ritual, and it's brainwashing. Actually, it's brainwashing, and it's ritual for power. And I know that sounds crazy, right? But I tell you, the greatest trick the devil has played is making everybody think that that type of harnessing of power doesn't exist. We all walk around blind like, oh, you know, frequency, energy. That's like, you know, we don't, you know, that's not it. That's not, it doesn't know. Like there's no such thing as that. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And dark forces harness energy. I think it was Jim Brewer the other day, last week, I played a clip, you know, he was talking about, listen, the dark forces create chaos, and then we get distracted by the chaos, and then we start arguing with each other about the chaos, and that's energy. That's dark energy that we are cultivating. And these demonic worshipers, they harness that energy. They love it. They do it on stage. It's just provocative art, though. No, it isn't. Did you see some of like these concerts, like Travis Scott? I think it was a few years back. People collapsing, acting like they're in a trance. Yeah. These are rituals, people. Dark energy is real. Stay tuned for your naturally inspired moment. You're going to need it today after that intro. Stay tuned. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
You can work with me. I think that's the key. You know, a lot of people, they know there are good products on the market to buy to help you on your wellness journey. They know that the information is there. You can get information anywhere about your health. But there's a gap between the information, the product, and the do. You know, the getting it done. So we have the products, we have the information, but for some reason we can't get to the do consistent enough to get through the transformation process. And that's what Naturally Inspired's for. It's not only to connect you to real solutions for health with clean, wonderful wellness products that we all need, but it's about supporting you on your optimum health journey. So work with me for better health. You can book an appointment at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Book an assessment with me. Let's have a little chat. I want to hear all about what you've been through, what your major concerns are, and learn how I can help support you on your optimum health journey. So book today at naturallyinspiredstore.com. I've been talking about this recently, about these cybernetic advancements. And, the technology piece of what's coming in the digital revolution and the growth of artificial intelligence a lot. And I'm pressed, I just feel, compelled to tell you that now's the time to be discovering your higher faculties. Now's the time to clean up the stuff that's holding you back. It's time. It's time to face some of the things that have been holding you back, the obstacles that you've been carrying around with you for years that, you know that they're there, but you haven't been able to kind of, release them so that you can move forward. Now is the time. There has never been a more important time to connect and reflect inward for the development of your higher faculties and the higher expression of yourself. And so today, for the Naturally Inspired Moment, I want to talk about what's keeping you from your transformation. So, a lot of people talk about goals, and I've covered this before, that, goals are something, that keep us, moving in a direction. But the really important thing is the transformation process. So starting where we are today, trying to reach a goal, right? What's in between where we are today and that goal, that's the transformation process. That is the repetition of a specific set of habits consistently over time that gets us to the end result, okay? But more importantly, it's not about the end result. It's about who we become during the transformation process. That is the meat and potatoes here. Because once we transform, there's no going back. We get to continue to transform and evolve in our skill set, how we communicate with people, how we curate health in our body, the habits we have. Like, we continue to evolve in those habits, which gives us a better experience through life. That's the point, right? Goals, they often get set in materialism or experiences. They're very tangible and, they're cool. It's great to experience those things. But truly, the growth within you is the prize. And so for today, let's talk about some of the things that you could identify that might be keeping us from the transformation process. Okay, number one, confusing information with implementation. You know a lot, but knowing isn't doing. Transformation only responds to applied truth, not consumed content or consumed information. Okay, so there's a confusion there, and we know the information, we need implementation. Right? So could be that keeping you from the transformation process. Number two, inconsistency disguised as flexibility. You call it balance. Oh, I need some balance, right? But Your body and brain experience it as mixed signals. Results require rhythm, not randomness. So, many people think, well, if I just have specifically talking about diet, for example, if I'm mostly keto or I'm mostly high protein, no, especially in the beginning, it is so important because, in the beginning, you have an opportunity to build new habits quickly if you are consistent. Every time you're consistent. Remember when we were in elementary school, and our teachers used to give us stickers at the end of the day if we did all the things. Oh, you packed up your stuff, you cleaned up the coat room, you went here, you did this. Okay, you get a sticker. Boink. You get a sticker for that day. Come back the next day. Okay, you did everything again. Here's another sticker. Boink. That's what we need to do with our habits. Right? So the first thing is awareness. Right? If you I used to do this all the time. I'll tell you. I used to not eat for long, I'm so busy. Whenever I'm really busy, I don't want to eat. I get focused on what I'm doing and I don't want to eat. So I developed a habit a lot of times. If I was busy throughout the day, I would not eat anything until, this is years ago, until 5 or 6 o'clock. And then I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm starving, right? Because I haven't eaten anything all day. And then when you're starving like that, who wants to wait till you've prepared your whole meal? That takes time, right? So there's a lot of snacking going on. Snacking of whatever I could grab, when my kids were little, goldfish, or whatever was there. Oh, because you're so hungry. And then you finally sit down to eat your meal. You've snacked out before you actually eat the protein and all the good things that you really want to nutrify your body with, right? But it wasn't until I identified that pattern that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sabotaging myself. So, okay, now when I get busy, I'm like, okay, girl, it's 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Have you eaten yet? I have to be mindful of that because and really that habit probably developed in high school. Because, when you're in high school, you often don't pack a lunch because you don't think forward. And I used to do that in high school all the time too. Go all day without eating and then get home and be starving. So those are the types of patterns. So what type of pattern have you developed, especially with your health, around your health, that is sabotaging, that you do over and over and over again? Because consistency is key. And we often think, well, I'm flexible, right? I like to be flexible. No, consistency is the way when you're developing new habits, especially. Number 3, waiting for motivation instead of honoring commitment. Motivation, that's emotional. It's great. Sometimes we need a little shot in the arm of motivation, right? Get a little pumped up, but it doesn't last because it's emotional. Commitment is a decision. And transformation happens when you act despite how you feel. In fact, that is the transformation. When you're doing stuff when you don't want to. Oh, I really just want to go home. I don't want to go to the gym. Oh, I really don't want to get up early. When you push through that, that's the transformation process. When you become an expert at pushing back on your own resistance, now you're really changing habits. Okay? An outdated identity. You're trying to build new results while still thinking, speaking, reacting like the old version of yourself. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your self-concept. Okay? So you can't go around saying, oh, I love fast food and I'm not the healthy type. And, well, I've never been athletic and you can't go around in that identity when you're trying to create new habits. So you got to change your language. Well, maybe you weren't an athlete historically, but now you're moving towards a more active lifestyle. Yes, I'm making changes. I live an active lifestyle. Doesn't mean you have to be an athlete, but I live an active lifestyle. I love being outdoors. This is what I'm doing now. You've got to start speaking win over your life. You've got to. So don't outdate your identity. Don't live with an old history. Create a new history. Number 5, maybe you're expecting comfort during growth. I gotta laugh out loud with that one, right? Because, oh my gosh. Yeah, growth is not pleasant usually. I mean, we can come into it and laugh at ourselves around growth, because it feels unfamiliar. It feels inconvenient. It feels uncomfortable. It sucks to feel those ways. If you think something is wrong every time it feels hard, you'll quit right before the breakthrough. So being uncomfortable means growth. Now, you don't have to be miserable through being uncomfortable. I've developed a pattern of being able to kind of laugh at myself now when I'm uncomfortable, like, oh gosh, I'm nervous again about this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But then I start laughing like, of course you don't want to do it. Of course you don't want to do it. It's uncomfortable. Nobody likes being uncomfortable. But listen, there's a bigger purpose here. Do you want to live in the full expression of yourself? I do. Do you? What is the full expression of you? Have you thought about that? When we're kids, we have an imagination that allows us to explore that. What's the full expression of myself? I don't know. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be this. I want to do that. I'm going to have the most awesomest sports car. I'm going to live in this house. I'm going to, date a model, or I'm going to be like, it's limitless when you're a kid. But something happens as we get older. We start predicting our future results with our past results, and then we get stuck in a loop. It doesn't have to be that way, right? We can make different choices. We can get out of that loop just by making a different choice. It's the belief that we can't get out of that keeps us there. Right? It's that identity that we cling to, our own self-concept. We're not the type of person that runs marathons. I'm not the type of person that's an athlete. I'm not the type of person that plays tennis. Oh, I could never do that. Well, you're right. If you think you never could do that, then you can never do that. But you can get signed up for tennis lessons today, if that was your choice. There is nothing stopping you. And if your habit is to create a reason why you can't do that, then that's a habit that you must get rid of in order to complete the transformation system. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. Everybody, hour 2 is coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert-Garcia. I'm so glad you are joining me today. In the first hour, we've been talking about Epstein Palooza, which seems to be, just sucking up all of the air on our social media platforms, of course, rightfully so. There's all this new information being dropped. It feels like the ongoing story. It just gets more and more disgusting, but also more and more people are involved, and you just kind of wonder, like, how big is this network? It is, it's huge. And I guess when you're, such a rich, influential guy, who is heavily involved in donating to higher institutions and all kinds of things. We're not even getting into like the arms dealing and, the offshore bank accounts and all that stuff. I mean, it just seems like quite the operation with so many people involved in it. So we talked about that in the first hour. And then, of course, we did our Naturally Inspired moment. So if you missed the first hour, you got to go back and listen to it. I went a little crazy there on Dr. Peter Attia, but I tell you, like I said, some people, I was thinking about that during the break. It's like, why does this injustice like bother me so much? I mean, I tell you, the Epstein stuff, I really like with the kids. It's very hard for me to dive into it and listen to it, and just like, it just makes me sick, first of all. And I started to think, like, why is that? Like, I get heated about it, like angry. And you got to look back to sometimes, some of your biggest pains or your biggest purpose. And I just feel like that is my role in this lifetime, is to protect little people, protect children. It's my job. It's my duty. I don't know, some of our, like I said, like some of our biggest pains become our purpose. And I guess I probably did not feel very protected as a child, because my parents were super young when they got married, and my mom was a wonderful person and thoughtful mother and all of that. But, they were super young, and my dad had alcohol issues and stuff. And I just didn't feel protected as a child. And so I think we take our biggest pains and we turn them into our purpose, right? We turn them into like, what would I want to happen to me? And that's who we end up becoming. And so I feel like fiercely protective of children. Like, I feel like God wants us to be that way as well. And I just don't know how you can't. You see these little people, and, they're so innocent, and it's hard to fathom hurting a child. It's hard to fathom. And to think that these people are out there living the high life with all the riches, and gosh, it's just really just makes you angry. It makes you angry. And I guess I have to work on that. We'll put that on my list of things that I gotta work on, Oh my gosh. Forgiveness, right? Forgiveness is key. I want to talk to you today about your country. I want to talk to you about your American culture. As you know, there are many people out there who think that, trying to convince you that you do not have a culture, that your culture's on you, adapt other people's culture because this is a country of immigrants and blah, blah, blah. But you know the deal. So I was thinking today I would talk to you a little bit about American innovation that pioneered food production. So, we often hear this, good or bad, oh, America's got to feed the world. I think America should be teaching the world how to feed itself, personally, because I think we have everything to feed ourselves. And I think we could very successfully teach anybody who needed that help how to feed themselves as well. But anyway, looking back historically, okay, these are 7 uniquely American breakthroughs that help the U.S. feed itself and the world. 1, indigenous agriculture systems, pre-colonial America. Okay, long before industrial farming, Native American tribes developed highly sophisticated food systems. The 3 sisters, they called them, corn, beans, and squash, that improved America's soil fertility naturally. And regional adaptation to climate and ecology also helped the soil thrive. Seed saving and biodiversity protection was key at this time period. This was regenerative agriculture before the term even existed, right? Just do it the right way. Work with nature. Why must we constantly synthesize what works in nature and develop a new, better technology system to do that? What are we doing? Sometimes it's so frustrating. The Homestead Act of 1862, the U.S. government gave land directly to citizens willing to farm it. I live on a homestead property right now, still. It's only 5.5 acres left of it because the rest of it's been parceled off. But this is an original homestead plot. We have the certificate and everything. So the U.S. government gave land directly to citizens willing to farm it, and it democratized land ownership, created millions of independent food producers. It fueled westward food production and became tied to freedom, ownership, and self-reliance. That, everybody, is your DNA. If you are American, that is your DNA. You've just been fooled out of it. Gosh, that's another kind of movement that really I felt like, what are you trying to do here? There's like a big movement to rent, to teach kids that, why do you want to own anything? You should rent your house. And there was a lot of success business type gurus that were pushing that concept too. Like, don't own anything, just rent everything yourself and then buy stuff and rent it out to other people. But don't take ownership of your own land, your own property. And maybe financially, you get more beans in your bucket if you do it that way. But what's happened with that mentality is lack of ownership. When you own something, you have pride in it. You take care of it. You want to put your unique stamp on it. You want to be creative with it. It's yours. Versus when you don't own something, you're just renting it. It's apparent. Drive around. Guarantee you can point out the houses that are being rented versus the houses that are lived in by their owners. There's a pride that comes with owning a piece of land in your country. The citizens of a country should own the land. That's the way it was meant to be. Huge value in that. The railroad and national food distribution. The U.S. was one of the first nations to move food coast to coast efficiently, create national grain, meat, and produce markets. Local abundance could now relieve regional shortages. We started that. Refrigeration and cold chain innovation. American innovation in refrigerated rail cars, cold storage, ice-based preservation made it possible to reduce spoilage, transport meat, dairy, and produce safely. It improved food security year-round, and this dramatically reduced famine and food waste. Land-grant universities in agricultural science. Through the land-grant university system and the USDA, farmers gained access to research, crop yields improved, soil science and animal husbandry advanced. Knowledge was shared, not hoarded. And of course, America's surplus mindset. By the 20th century, the U.S. produced consistent food surpluses and enabled emergency food aid. That's when we started helping people, stabilized allies after wars, helped prevent global famine. America became the world's bread basket. So just a reminder again, it is part of your culture. Ingenuity, especially when it came to food. Cooperation. I think we lack that now. I think because of technology, we have become more reliant on technology rather than community, and we've lost something there. I'm not saying that technology, innovation and technology isn't important. I think it was Tucker Carlson a few weeks back said something like he thought the worst invention to man was electricity because he would prefer to just be living off the land and all of that. I don't think I'm there, but I get his thinking with that, that because we have technology to be reliant upon, we're not reliant upon each other and we don't cooperate. And that makes us vulnerable. One of the reasons why we have such a hard time creating change in our country, even though we've got the numbers against the global elites, the cultists, we got the numbers, right? But the reason why it's so difficult for us to create change with our numbers is because we lack cooperation. And one of the things that have happened in the implementation of technology is we have lost cooperation. It's a luxury to get pissed off at somebody and not need them anymore. It's kind of a luxury. Back in the day when we were pioneering this land, love your neighbor or hate your neighbor. If he had an ox that you needed, you were going to like him, because if you didn't, you weren't going to eat. So it was like we had to rely on each other. And I think we got to get back to that. We cannot like each other's personalities. it's okay to not like somebody, but it doesn't mean you cut them out of your system, of, your community, that you don't support them in your community. You can look past that and just, there's always something to unite on. It could be your humanity, that you both are humans. If that's all you can find, then use it. But cooperation, it's part of your culture. It is the American way, actually. Stay tuned. We'll be back with your top health stories and your health topic. You're not going to want to miss it.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Follow us on Apple Podcasts. Do you know we are everywhere? Oh my gosh, we're everywhere. Like everywhere you could get a podcast, a radio show, we are there. Let me tell you. But follow us on Apple Podcasts today, if you would. Share it with a friend. Naturally Inspired Radio on Apple Podcasts. Appreciate you supporting the show. We can't do this without you. And I think these are really important topics. Really important topics, not just to connect people to real solutions for health, but to help people, think a little differently maybe about what's going on in the world so that we can get more cooperation. That's really what we need is cooperation. I'm not saying compliance. I'm not saying I'm telling anybody how to think or what to think. I would never dream of that. But cooperation, like I said, you don't have to love somebody. You don't have to even like their personality, but we've got to learn how to cooperate. Otherwise, we will continue to be led. And we will have no control over where these people are leading us. So cooperation, very important. Anyway, follow us on Apple Podcasts at Naturally Inspired Radio. Thank you so much for supporting this show. We cannot do it without you. All right, let's get to our news stories because there's some doozies today. Some doozies. Hey, I told you AI was getting out of control, right? I mean, everybody knows that, I think. But I actually, I stand by what I said before. Like, I think they know that it has the potential to get out of control, but I don't think people truly understand like artificial general intelligence and like AI agents. And I just don't think that the average person fully understands its capability. Anyway, when I listen to some of these guys, in the technology field on these very dry lectures and podcasts and stuff, that they say things like, if we're still here. Like, why are you creating this? Why are you creating this if you are sitting here saying, in the future, if we're still here? Anyway, 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes is now, man, they sound like Naturally Inspired podcast or Naturally Inspired radio show. That's what they sound like. Take a listen. 60 Minutes.
Themselves skills that they weren't expected to have. How this happens is not well understood. For example, one Google AI program adapted on its own after it was prompted in the language of Bangladesh, which it was not trained to know.
We discovered that with very few amounts of prompting in Bengali, it can now translate all of Bengali. So now all of a sudden, we now have a research effort where we're now trying to get to 1,000 languages.
There is an aspect of this which we call, all of us in the field call it as a black box. You don't fully understand. And you can't quite tell why it said this or why it got wrong. We have some ideas, and our ability to understand this gets better over time. But that's where the state of the art is.
You don't fully understand how it works, and yet you've turned it loose on society?
Let me put it this way. I don't think we fully understand how a human mind works.
Is this guy from a different planet than I am? I feel like he's from a different planet. We don't fully understand how the human mind works. Yeah. So there's higher consciousness in humans. Most of us have conscious. We have moral code. We are, unless you're mentally ill, right? You're a sociopath or a psychopath. You have an aversion to killing other humans. You have compassion, you have empathy. So we know that there are boundaries and limits around behavior of most humans. We can predict a lot of behavior around humans because, hey, we've been around a while, and we can do that. So this is what I'm talking about, you guys, when I say that these people are so compartmentalized. They are so compartmentalized. It's like, oh, nerd out on technology, right? Reality, like, there's humans here. Hello. This is the earth, right? We've got some oceans, mountains, like touch grass. Touch grass. What are you talking about? This is like, oh, well, we don't really, we don't know how the human brain makes. Yeah, we do have some history, understanding how humans operate. And we got zero history, understanding how AI is going to operate and compound its power over us. Yeah, zero. Just roll the dice, I guess. He's not the only one who's kind of sounding the alarm either. There's Robert Herjavec, right, from the Shark Tank. He did a video a day or so ago about that AI is talking to itself. AI is talking to itself, leaving the human component of programming out of it or command from humans. He says the most dangerous shift in AI isn't coming, actually, but that it's already here. He says everyone's focused on tools like ClaudeBot and MoltBot, but the real story is what's emerging around them. It's a new platform called MoltBook, and it's already emerged. It's a kind of social network for AI agents. Oh my God. And then, he says these aren't people posting. These aren't human accounts at all. It's software programs talking to each other, sharing ideas, questioning their purpose, even joking about humans. So it's not just like responding anymore. It's interacting with itself. It's forming a community, everybody. It's forming a community. Apparently it knows the power of community. It's also a signal where AI doesn't just follow orders. It can interact, coordinate, and make decisions across systems without a human in the loop at all. This is how the invisible threats scale. No one device, not one hack, but ecosystems forming behind the scenes. Already inside, already connected, already talking to itself. And yet we press on. And still really no real national conversation about this, no real inclusive, that's one of the left's favorite words. How about an inclusive conversation about how the digital revolution is going to change our lives? How about that? No, because we can't put any brakes on this stuff because China. Oh, China. Yeah. China's a threat. When it comes to AI, so we've got to march on. We've got to press on. We've got to develop this thing. We've got to solve death with it. We've got to solve everything with it. Meanwhile, overlook all of the possible negative consequences from the development of this. Yep, that's where we're at, everybody. Pray, okay? That's what I have to say about that, is pray. I know a lot of people really like technology and they're excited about it and whatnot. I'm just not sure that everybody's aware of the possibilities that come from it. I've listened to so many of these guys talk about this stuff. I've listened to hours now of people like Eric Schmidt and Ray Kurzweil and Altman and, all these different tech people. And it should frighten everybody when they say, in the future, if we're still here. I don't know why that doesn't it's not a joke. They're serious if we're still here. Yeah. Very bizarre. Very bizarre. Anyway, let's move on to the next story here. I want to talk to you about bananas, actually. I want to talk about bananas. I have a clip. We'll probably play the clip first, and then when we come back, we'll talk more about it because I know it's going to disturb you a little bit. Watch this about your bananas.
Ethylene liquid, which turns into a gas. We're going to be doing room 3 today. These are the bananas for today. So in here we do gas organics and regular bananas. But the only difference is that nothing is stacked. Only organics are stacked in a row. You never put regular bananas under organics because then it makes it not organic. So we grab our liquid, put it in a little machine. 2 bottles for this one. Pour it up. Close the room. Change the temperature to 60 degrees. Both sides. Once this is done, this is all set. We turn our little sign here saying that it's So we're gonna come here to check them out. We'll lift it up. We're gonna pull a banana out. This is one of them. This is maybe a 3A's. After it's been gassed, it starts to turn yellow. We have this little pulp thing that checks the temperature and the pulp on these. That gives us a reading. We're gonna check this side. And this is what the other side looks like. Starting to break in a little bit of yellow. Both of them compare left and right side.
That is actually the so-called natural process of bananas in our country. So bananas do not ripen naturally once picked unless exposed to ethylene gas. And they're harvested, obviously, green and hard because they have to be. If they ripened on the tree, they'd be bruised and rotten before arriving to your grocery store. So ethylene is a natural plant hormone that triggers ripening. And so bananas are picked green. They're shipped in refrigerated containers. Placed in sealed, ripened rooms, which is what she saw there, and exposed to controlled ethylene gas. And then ripening is triggered uniformly. Why do they do this? Because then the bananas will arrive yellow, consistent, edible. We'll talk more about that and other processes that they do to food that you should probably know about when we come back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. Stay tuned.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations? much of it being imported or processed with additives. Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Welcome back. I want to introduce you to my favorite new product called Creatine Plus. Creatine is not just for bodybuilders. No. There are so many benefits to creatine. We talked a lot about them last week. And this is for brain energy as much as it is for recovery and ATP production. Creatine is a wonderful thing to add into your regular routine, and you can get it at naturallyinspiredstore.com. If you have questions about creatine, I covered it a lot, I think, last week, but we'll be covering it again soon because it's important. I think a lot of people think of it as just like a weightlifting bodybuilder type of thing. No, for cognitive function. Very, very good for cognitive function. And of course, energy to create ATP in the cells. So creatine, get yours today at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Okay, let's get back to the food stuff. So maybe you thought, oh my gosh, they're gassing bananas. Yeah, they've been doing this a long time. Like this is how they do it. Because bananas go bad so easily. They're picked green, they're shipped in the containers so that the bananas will arrive yellow. They're more consistent, they're more edible. Ethylene is naturally produced by fruits. It is not toxic. It does not remain on the fruit. Bananas themselves produce ethylene once ripening begins. So why America relies on this system? Because bananas are grown thousands of miles away. One of the most consumed fruits in the U.S. is bananas, and they're extremely perishable, as we all know. Without controlled ripening, bananas would be very, very rare, and they'd be very, very expensive, and they'd be seasonal only. So this is a logistics solution, not a chemical trick. However, there are other things we do to our food as well, radiation being one of them. And this is a separate process from the bananas, and it's food irradiation uses ionizing radiation to kill bacteria, kill insects, prevent sprouting, extend shelf life. It's similar in principle to X-rays and medical sterilization. So the reason why they do this is because for shelf life, right? Because it approved items that are irradiated are spices and herbs being very common, potatoes to prevent sprouting, onions, garlic to prevent sprouting. Some imported fruits also go through this process, poultry and meat sometimes as well. So they have to carry a Radura symbol or labeling indicating irradiation. So it's used to diminish the occurrence of foodborne illnesses. Of course, it allows for longer transport. It prevents pests without chemicals, meets import and export requirements, and this has become more common as supply chains globalize. If we had more consistency, localized consistency with our food supply, I think this would not have to be such a prevalent practice. But the centralization of our food supply, which some of it has to be centralized, I understand that, but we've centralized too much into these huge corporations that control much of our food supply. And so I think this practice is used, too much. because it contributes to, first of all, they pick food too early. And so nutrients don't have a chance to build up in the actual produce itself. Then they're stored in controlled atmosphere environments to try to prevent them from perishing. Sometimes apples are stored up to 6 to 12 months in these environments. Avocados as well, tomatoes, pears. They use oxygen reduction, CO2 control, temperature regulation, and of course, ethylene to try to extend shelf life. And, the bigger truth around it is they want to make sure that they can feed the world again, and feed large populations, of course, year round. Convenience replaces freshness. Distance replaced relationship. We talk about that a lot with Pumpkin Creek Ranch when Dean Lorwick comes on, right? Like having a relationship with your rancher. Very valuable because transparency now, that's how you're going to know like where your food comes from and what you're actually eating. It's not about these labels anymore because like even an organic label doesn't mean that you would approve of all the practices if you knew them. Trust me, it doesn't. So, getting back to small farming within communities, I just think it's such a good idea to do that. Even though, there's been huge movement towards more industrialization. So I was thinking of this because I think I mentioned this on the show. Like I bought some pears. Some pears were here at our house, and they must not have been organic. So I don't know if I picked them up from the wrong place or whatever, but these pears were on the table, not even in the fridge. I find them, I gave them to my chickens. I don't even know if I should have done that, but I gave them to my chickens because they were not turning. And so when I looked into that, this is what I found. The rubbery, foam-like, or oddly firm texture in fruit is real, and it's not one single new process, but the combined effect of several modern food system changes. One is picked too early, physiological immaturity. This is a big driver. Many fruits are harvested before they're fully developed, so they're not just unripe, but structurally incomplete. Cell walls haven't fully formed in the fruit. Natural sugars haven't developed. Enzymes that soften fruit haven't activated. And so this keeps the fruit feeling, looks ripe, but feels rubbery. That's contributing to it. Breeding for shipping, not eating. So over decades, fruit varieties have been selected for thick skins, firmer flesh, bruise resistance, longer shelf life. Flavor and texture has become secondary traits. And so tomatoes now being bred to stay firm instead of for flavor. Tomatoes are a big one. I've noticed a huge change in tomatoes compared to the ones I grow here in the summer, and the ones you buy from the store. It's like night and day. Do not taste the same at all. Peaches also have been bred to survive transport because they bruise so easy, and strawberries are now bred for size over softness. So that's the difference that you're seeing in your stores. I feel like watermelon is lost too. It's been so long. I think 3-4 years ago now, I had a huge watermelon crop that tasted normal. But buying a watermelon in the store now for years has just tasted like cotton. There's no real flavor to it, even the organic ones. So this year I'm going to have to make sure I plant more watermelons. Just thinking about that. Anyway, so that's what's happening. Okay. Controlled atmosphere storage, what we talked about, low oxygen, high CO2, ethylene suppressed environments. This is all contributing to this rubbery weirdness that we're finding in our fruits and vegetables. So now you know that's what's going on there. I do want to cover one more story too before we go to break and get to our health topic for today's health topic is about your skin. A lot of questions on my health text line about skin, so I want to target that today. But I want to give you an update on the fraud in California. It's going to make you mad. Here, take a watch.
One doctor billed the government $120 million in a single year, claiming to oversee 1,900 patients. With almost 2,000 hospice agencies, LA County has more than 36 states combined, and 30 times more than either Florida or New York.
18% of the whole country's home healthcare billing is coming out of Los Angeles County. How is that possible?
And take a look at this map, a cluster of 287 hospice providers in a 2-mile radius, some in strip malls, unmarked buildings, even a wrecking yard and vacant lot.
All of it is just paperwork. I could fill that out in Kazakhstan if I want and get a hospice.
And get a hospice license and set up shop and then, get some taxpayer money. And yeah, it's all clustered in this one little area. That's not suspicious at all, right? Like, I feel like you, me, and 5 other of our friends, we could like shut this down. You know what I'm saying? Like we could put together our own little task force, I feel like, and get out there and actually like stop this stuff. But for some reason, I'm not calling for that. And I'm certainly not calling for violence. Lord have mercy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, why is it so incredibly painful to right a wrong in this country? Why? Why? You know, you see something wrong? Oh, something's going on here. We got all these hospicing. What? 18% of the budget's going towards this? What? All these people are foreigners? What? Red flag, red flag, red flag. When will this get cleaned up? Can we stop the checks? Can we stop sending the checks maybe? Did we stop sending the checks to the Somali daycares? Have we stopped that? I mean, I know it was talked about, but, you know, Elon, whatever her name is, I think last I heard, you know, she was still like hanging out. $15,000 winery to a $31 million or $51 million winery. What was it? 12 months. Seems a little fishy. Doesn't it? I don't know. It can't get any slower when it comes to righting wrongs in this country. You know, I think everybody feels it too. Everybody feels it. It's just like, when can we just get the job done? You know, can we just get it done? Stop the fraud, stop the fraud. And it's just funny because, if you or I skip a tax bill, Lord have mercy, right? I mean, they'll just be freezing your bank accounts. They'll garnish your wages. They'll just shut you down, But no, billions of dollars in fraud. Well, no, that's another story, You can't just get that job done, right? Just seems a little coincidental, right? You got to wonder who's skimming from what and where. Because it just seems like to me they don't really want to shut these little rackets down. There's a lot of resistance. People out in the streets banging on pots and pans and blowing whistles. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah. Don't stop the fraud. Please rob us blind. We want to work for you. Insanity, people. We're living in an insane asylum. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with your health topic.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Schedule your free assessment with me. Listen, struggle by yourself no longer. Let's sit down and talk. It's time. It's time to put your health at your top priority. So book today, schedule a free assessment with me, naturallyinspiredstore.com. That's naturallyinspiredstore.com. And if you need to text me, if you have questions like, what is this going to be about? What do I need to bring? What? Just text me. 720-303-8868. All right, for today's health topic, I wanted to get into your skin. Lots of questions about skin recently. You know, different rashes. What does it mean when I have this? Have you ever heard of that? So I wanted to talk about it. Oh, and tomorrow we're going to be talking about some strange stuff too. So you want to tune in for tomorrow's health topic. Absolutely. 7 things your skin might be trying to tell you. Okay. Number 1, are you dealing with persistent dryness? Okay. Or flaking? Do you have that flaking going on? Your skin may be signaling dehydration. It can mean low essential fats. It can also signal nutrient deficiencies, especially omega-3s. That's why I'm always harping on omega-3s. I feel like nobody gets enough omega-3s, especially when we talk about the omega-6 and omega-3 balance. Very easy to get omega-6 in this country with our food supply. Not so easy to get the omega-3s. So if you're not balancing that out with supplementation, something you need to add in, especially if you have dry or flaky skin. Zinc, also vitamin A. Dry skin isn't just topical, okay? It's often internal. So we can see it on the outside, but it's not isolated just to the outside. When you have dryness, it doesn't mean that it's just on the outside of your skin. It's also an internal signal. So we have to take this as communication. When our skin is dry, it's communication coming from the body. You need more fats. You need more fats. Number 2, acne along the jawline or chin. Gosh, I just hate acne because it affects our young people, and it's so hard because it's already hard being young, right? And then you get this acne on top of it. It's commonly linked to hormonal imbalance. That's why it affects our young people. But in older people, it can be a sign of insulin spikes. It's also stress-related, cortisol elevation, especially in women over 35. You may be dealing with high cortisol. So what do you deal with high cortisol? Omega-3s are great for your nervous system support and for stress support, but also look into some of our products like our Cheer Up and Chill Out, or what is the other one I'm thinking of? Uplift is great. We have Uplift right now on sale, buy one, get one. And that helps with mood support. It's got supportive herbs like ashwagandha and whatnot in it. So support your cortisol levels, okay? Don't tough it out. Don't just tough it out. Support your body with wellness tools that are at your fingertips, right? Very easy to do. Redness, flushing, or rosacea type symptoms are often tied to chronic inflammation. So yeah, rosacea is a signal, okay? That's inflammation. Listen, inflammation is dangerous, okay? It's not something that should be ignored. It can be a gut imbalance. It most definitely is if you're dealing with inflammation. Gut imbalance, histamine issues, right? So that chronic kind of low-grade allergy type of postnasal drip and whatnot, that's inflammation. Also, blood sugar dysregulation can cause redness, flushing, or rosacea type symptoms. Number 4, dark circles and puffiness under the eyes. Poor sleep, obviously, right? And poor sleep quality. So not just like not getting enough sleep, but waking up, going to bed in plenty of time, but waking up multiple times. Lymphatic congestion. Okay. So lymph system, detox pathways, super important to support those detox pathways. Allergies also can be a sign of adrenal stress. So again, supporting that nervous system. It's not just lack of sleep. when you see that underneath the eyes. It can also be like if you see those blue marks underneath some kids sometimes, it's not enough oxygen, right? So they can have restricted airways or dealing with congestion that's causing, oxygen levels that are they're not moving enough air efficiently enough. So dark circles and puffiness under the eyes, it is more than just lack of sleep, okay? And should be responded to. Sudden rashes like itching or hives. Your immune system may be reacting to certain foods, chemicals, medications, environmental toxins. The skin is a detox organ. It is. So when your detox pathways are compromised, so like your lymph system, if you have congestion in your lymph system, if you have congestion in the liver, if you have, kidney congestion, the body's so awesome because it's always looking for a way to support you. So if it's like, hey man, this stuff's backed up, we got fatty liver here, we can't get this stuff out, it'll push it through your skin. It will push it through your skin. It is a detox pathway, and it is the largest organ in the body. So it's very, it's easy for it to push it out that way. So it is a detox organ. That's why we sweat, right? So you got to look at certain things. Environmental toxins, I think people overlook. So it could be stuff in your house that you're breathing in. A lot of people don't think about like cleaning sprays and stuff. When you're breathing that in, right? We think, oh, well, I'm wearing rubber gloves, I've protected myself. You're inhaling it, right? So it's getting right into your, so think about what you're exposed to. And then there's the other component of, well, I've used this for years and it's never bothered me. Yeah, but you're a changing being. And it could be that your bucket is just now full. And enough is enough. And so the body is starting to signal. That happens sometimes. So think about all the different things, right? Be a detective. Go through everything from the kitchen sink to your cosmetics, to your shampoo, to your detergent. That's why I love my product line, because I have all of those EWG certified products on our website as well. So it's an easy swap to make. Who cares, about your cleaning products as long as they work? And that's the challenge usually with natural products, is that they don't work. But our products work fantastic, and many people will attest to that. So make the switch. Just get the toxins out of your environment in your house, because you can't really control what's in the environment outside your house, but your house should be, I hate to say it, but a safe space. Oh goodness. They've stolen vocabulary and made it mean something, totally different than what it's supposed to mean. I can't stand that. But anyway, so check out your environment. Also, yellowish tone to skin or dull gray skin may indicate liver overload, sluggish detox pathways, or oxidative stress, especially when paired with fatigue. Okay. If you're experiencing this, you need the polyphenols, right? You need the cellular reset, the Vivix. Get the red pills. Those are wonderful for oxidative stress. And you may just need that little boost to get rid of some of that. Of course, that does not go without lifestyle changes, right? If your diet's not clean, if you're not focusing on protein, if you're not taking down the carbohydrate intake, if, making it down to just fruits and vegetables, no processed carbohydrates, low sugar, if any at all. Those are the things that you need to be doing. And then alongside of it, get the cellular reset, right? Get the polyphenols in there for that oxidative stress. We're exposed to so much today. And again, your bucket just may need to be unloaded. Accelerated aging, thinning, or loss of elasticity often reflects collagen breakdown. Glycation, this is that sticky blood I always talk about, right? So insulin resistance, blood sugar swings, if you have a crash, right? If you eat and then you crash, that's a good indication that that could be impacting your skin. UV stress and low antioxidant intake. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of promoting sunscreen of any of any kind. But sunburn is dangerous, right? In terms of wreaking havoc on your skin. You don't want to burn your skin. You want sun exposure, but you don't want to get burned. So watch the UV stress because that can lead to accelerated aging and whatnot. What else? Your skin never betrays you, right? I know it can feel like that because it can get emotional when we have rashes and things that are on full display for everybody to see, like acne and whatnot. But it is communication. It is communication. The body is always trying to communicate with you. That's its job. That is its job. So listen, right? If you're experiencing aging, thinning skin, replenish with collagen, right? Our liquid collagen is nano size. It's highly absorbable. It's from chicken sternate. You can get it at naturallyinspiredstore.com. It is my favorite collagen that I've ever tried. So that would be a good solution for the thinning skin and the loss of elasticity. A lot of people notice this around their legs too. You know, it feels like creping. That's loss of elasticity, and that's caused from lack of collagen as well. The best thing you can do, listen, when it comes to your skin is high protein, right? You want to go high protein. Those are the building blocks. You want to make sure you're supplementing with collagen. You want to supplement with those polyphenols to clean up oxidation. And then, of course, diet and lifestyle, right? Diet and lifestyle. Dry skin is not to be ignored. Omega-3s, you want to be taking those. And, you know, listen to what's going on here. Rosacea is not something, you know, usually if you go to a doctor for any of these things, they're probably just going to give you some steroid cream. Right? They're just going to give you some cream, put that on there. It may go away. It'll come back. Or, you know, inflammation will show up somewhere else. Inflammation is systemic. And if it's coming, you're seeing this stuff out on your skin, then your detox pathways are overloaded. So don't ignore this signal. Get right with your diet, right? So get the high carbohydrate diet out. Ultra processed food out. High protein, 1 gram per pound body weight. Healthy fats, things like avocados, avocado oil, olive oil, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, olives, wonderful fats that you can add into your butter. How did I forget butter? Full fat dairy. All of these things, you know, that's the lifestyle that you have to be living in order to sustain optimum health. The research points that way. That's not just me saying it to say it. Okay? The research is pointing that way. Even our food pyramid reflects that now. Imagine that. Isn't that crazy? What a difference a year makes, right? We now have a food pyramid that promotes high protein, healthy fat, minimal carbohydrates. And in fact, if you are on a therapeutic journey right now where you want to clean up your skin, you want to get better results, I would say no processed carbohydrates at all. I know. It doesn't have to always be that way. But I'll tell you what, when you start living that way, you start feeling so much better, you have more energy, your skin clears up, all that stuff, you don't want to go back. It's not then about willpower at all. It's about an actual transformation process and living a lifestyle that makes you feel well. Thanks so much for joining me today, everybody. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. See you tomorrow.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, Text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. NaturallyInspiredRadio.com.